Hello, everyone. How you doing? How's it going? I've got my green tea here today. It's kind of hot right now, so I let it cool down a little bit. I've got a lot I want to share today. But before we dive into it, you can catch me here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter live at this time every single week. So today we're going to dive into portraits, talking about portraits. But before I dive into that, I want to share a little bit about my life here in Tokyo. For those who may be seeing this for the first time, I'm based in Japan, in Tokyo. And I've got to say, it's really interesting being here because I learn so much every single day. And let me just dive into this. I want to share a little bit about my life here, and then we'll dive into today's lesson. So today I want to start by talking about the kimonos and how beautiful they are here. And they're just so incredible. So authentic kimonos, Japanese kimonos, what are they? I've got a lot of friends who come from the States. I'm from America, who come over and they want to wear a kimono. This is a friend of mine, and she actually is from Japan. She lives here in Japan, but she also wanted to have the authentic Japanese kimono experience. So here we are, and this is what she came in this day, like like average person. We shot this in the fall, actually. So she's dressed in her coat and everything, but she wanted to wear a kimono. So how do you learn how to wear a kimono? So this is Raimu, and Raimu went to a kimono sensei or a kimono stylist, and this is her. She's the kimono stylist. She's there to like help you figure everything out. Rumiko is amazing, and she has a business where she actually will have foreigners come over and she'll dress them in authentic kimonos, not the tourist stuff. The tourist kimono is basically a robe, which is not a kimono at all. She's going to put you on a authentic experience. You can find her on Instagram right there, Rumiko. There's her Instagram handle. She'll dress you, give you the whole experience, and so much more. And you can have pictures taken of yourself wearing a traditional Japanese kimono. It's a wonderful experience to go through all of it and experience it. So here is Raimu in an authentic Japanese kimono. Even like how you hold your hands, all of that. It's a whole culture around it. And Rumiko is going to teach you all of that, as she did with Raimu this day. So it's so wonderful to see her dressed this way, but it's also wonderful to have the experience. Not only do you get the experience of wearing the kimono, Rumiko will give you a beautiful Japanese hand massage as well, give you the history of the kimonos, and so much more. So it's relaxing, it's cultural, and it's so incredible to go through. And believe it or not, I had this hand massage as well, and it is absolutely relaxing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So once you're dressed in the kimono, we go outside and you get to walk into a shrine, have pictures taken of yourself in a kimono, in a shrine. It's a beautiful experience. So this is what we did this day with Raimu. We got her dress, went outside. Here we are going on our way to a shrine to actually have pictures taken. Oh, and by the way, feel free to ask any questions you want today. At the end, I will be answering all your questions toward the end. So here we are at this shrine, going in and taking my first pictures of her in this beautiful color. This is the fall. There are 4 different types of kimonos to wear. One for spring, summer, fall, winter. And this is in the fall, so the colors are more for the fall to match in with nature, the environment, and everything. So whenever you come, you'll wear a traditional kimono based on that season. And also different kimonos for women of different ages. If you're an unmarried woman, you're normally going to wear a fude sode, which is a longer type of kimono. But here, Raimu is in a traditional kimono with the big obi. You'll see there's layers to it. There's layers under what we see as well. That's part of the experience of really wearing a true Japanese kimono with a beautiful obi, the belt, everything. Very different than what a tourist experiences by putting on a simple robe. That's not the real deal. This is the real deal, and you'll get pictures to go along with it. Rumiko is absolutely amazing. So here's Raimu in her kimono in a shrine. We're taking pictures and having a great day, and it was beautiful. And for anybody who's coming to Japan for the first time, you should definitely have this experience. It is absolutely amazing. This is not set up. This is a real moment of both Raimu and Rumiko together, just laughing, having a great time. And, now there's these pictures that tell the experience. And if you want a little extra, I'll take your pictures as well. So come on over, have the experience, and get it documented in the best way possible. This is so much fun going through and seeing this part of the culture. Now, Raimu is Japanese, so she's half Nigerian, half Japanese, but born here in Japan, but wanted to have that authentic cultural experience of wearing a kimono. Because I'm shooting this, I had to wear my kimono as well. Mine's a more modern day spin on a kimono, in the fashion of kimonos, but it was a whole day of the tradition, the culture, and absolutely just fantastic. That's the authentic kimono experience. And it kind of leads into today's lesson. Today, we're going to talk about portraits. We've been talking about portraits all this month, but today we'll talk about cultural portraits. As a matter of fact, today it'll be part 1. Next week, we'll go in deeper into part 2. Cultural portraits. Let's dive into all that and get you going in this lesson of photography with taking cultural portraits. For those who are brand new, my name is Matthew Jordan Smith. I've been a professional photographer for over 30 years. I absolutely love this industry. It's been great to me. It can be great to you. I'm also a Nikon ambassador as well. Today, I want to help you shoot better, and we're going to dive into cultural portraits. So maybe you're wondering, Matthew, what are cultural portraits? What are they? So I think cultural portraits should show the culture of people, where they are, what they do, what it looks like today. Maybe it's you may be looking at a person who could be a First Nation person, but people look different today. They're not wearing outfits from 200 years ago. So I want to show that today in cultural portraits. And a few years ago, I went all over America and photographed 100 people all over the country. And I want to go into that process of making these portraits, because as a photographer, you do want to have this thumbprint on your work. So even when you're doing a big project, and this is a big project all over America, every single state, yes, can you shoot with natural light? Absolutely. But the pictures are going to look different because the light's different everywhere you go. One day it's raining, one day it's overcast, one day it's bright sun. And how do you make sure you have great light? You bring your light with you. So that's what I did to do these cultural portraits. I want to take my light with me, no matter I'm shooting outside everywhere, and they're all shot outside on location all over America. I want to make sure they all have that same feeling as I'm doing these cultural portraits. That means I have all my gear, traveling around, driving from state to state to make these portraits come to life. Now, this was done for my 3rd book, which was my first self-published book, where I went to every state in America and photographed 100 kids, 100 strangers, asking them the simple question, what would you do if you were a future American president? And it was a lot of fun. Of course, I'm going asking the parents who are strangers and then taking pictures of their children on the spot. So these are all strangers who I meet on the spot. I bring out my gear and I make them the star for that moment. And it was so much fun. It was challenging for sure as you travel around America. But my idea was to make sure that every picture had that same feeling. So part of me making sure that happens is I use a light meter to measure the light outside, whatever it is, if it's bright sunlight this day, or it's overcast, or it's rainy, or whatever the weather is, I want to read that light first with my Sekonic light meter. Then I use my strobe and overpower that light, whatever it is. Maybe some bright sunny days, F16. If it's overcast, maybe it's F56. Whatever that ambient light is, I'm going to take a meter reading, find out what that is, then turn my meter to strobe and overpower that light, the natural light, by one full stop. That will help me make all my pictures have that same feeling, no matter where I'm going, no matter what the conditions are all around. Now, this is how I kept them lit. My main subject is lit by a strobe light that I carried around everywhere, every single state to make these images come to life and make these people, these subjects, feel special. That was really the goal of this book. Not so much that each child would become a future American president, but that they feel that they can be anything in the world, including an American president. So I want to make them feel like stars, bring them out, make them feel like, okay, I am special. I can do anything, no matter my background. So this is my version of cultural portraits, uplifting people from all areas of the world, all over America, every background, to highlight them and make them feel special. Now, there I am, much bigger back then, have my strobe gear, which is very heavy, a C-stand. I'm dragging it from state to state, finding strangers, lighting them, reading with my light meter, and then taking their pictures. And I'm doing it on the spot. I don't know what I'm going to find as I go from place to place. I find the parents who've had children. I stop, talk to them, tell them about my idea. And then 5 minutes later, after meeting them, I'm taking their picture. Now, you're going to notice I use the same light modifier in every single picture. All 100, every state, it's the same light modifier, because this modifier, I can very easily overpower the sunlight, even on a super bright day where the natural light is F16. I can still overpower that light with my strobe light on location. Now, back in the day, like 10 years ago, I had to carry a big, heavy strobe, a big, heavy battery. Today, it's different. Today, if I was doing this project today, I'd use a Profoto B10. And the battery, instead of being this big, heavy battery, it's a small battery that you see with the word Profoto on it. That's the battery. That Profoto logo, that part is the actual battery. I carry around maybe 2 or 3 of them so I can go on location and have a fresh battery all the time. But that's what I'd use today. It'd be much easier carrying my gear around from state to state to get all the images that I want. So it's funny, even the modifier, I would still use this modifier. And the kids, they all were asking, what is that? Actually, not only the kids, the adults as well. This is my light modifier. This is a Magnum by Profoto. I took this around to take all the pictures of all those 100 kids. There it is, actually on the light that I'm using at that time. I'm trying to overpower this bright sun, even these hot, bright days. I'm going all around using that light, that modifier, and overpowering the sunlight by one full stop. That's how I made all the pictures look alike. No matter whom I'm shooting, where I'm shooting, I use this gear to make those pictures come alive and make sure that all 100 portraits have that same feeling. This is how you have a project come to life, no matter where I am, North Dakota, South Dakota, Alaska, you name it, wherever I went, this gear went with me. And today it'd be so much easier using a Profoto B10. I'd still use the same meter. I'd still use my Sekonic light meter. I'd still use that same one. And this is the book cover for future American president. Now, I did go to 50 states, photographed 100 families, and got all of their dreams. But the process of going to every single state is not an easy one, because you got to think about when you can travel to every state. There's winter. You don't want to be traveling during the winter. You also got to be concerned about the heat. As you're traveling around to some places like Death Valley or Arizona, where you get extreme heat, and you have gear. So how to keep your gear from getting dusty, from getting dealing with heat. Here we are in Death Valley, the hottest place on the planet. How to keep your gear from acting right and not steaming up. All those things you learn how to travel with your gear when you're going away. Also, you want dependable gear, which is why I use Profoto strobes and Sekonic light meters. They are very sturdy, very dependable. Every single state traveling around, they never broke down on me. It's hard to say about a lot of gear, but my Profoto gear, my Sekonic gear, never broke down. Here we are in Iowa, and this is funny. Even seeing these pictures now, I have an extra battery on my whiteboard. That's how big that battery was, and that battery was like a car battery, the same weight as a pet car battery too. I'm carrying around all that gear, but it's part of the process of making images come alive and getting these cultural portraits that hopefully inspire these kids for the rest of their lives. Yes, that's Profoto B10 with me as well out there, my Sekonic light meter. But when you travel to every single state in the world, in the country, in America, you have all kinds of weather as well. I ran into floods in certain areas, and I wasn't expecting that. But what do you do in those areas? You are hit with the unexpected all the time. And I definitely was, as I went from state to state to state, getting these pictures. One day it's floods. Then I'm traveling through the tornado belt as well. And I was cautious, but absolutely I had to deal with tornadoes and be aware of them. And I just missed this one. It happened like the night before I arrived. And I'm shooting a family whose house was destroyed by this tornado. So I shot them in front of their house, where it's destroyed. And it was just so wild being there right after it, but still getting my pictures and making them come alive. And all that is in this book, Future American President, and all the stories of the kids as well. In Alaska, funny story, I met somebody on the plane going to Alaska, and he loved the idea that I'm doing. So he was a pilot, and he flew me to different places in Alaska. Met him on the plane going to Alaska, but he loved the project so much, he volunteered to fly me around. Super, super cool. I've got many more stories that happened on this trip as I flew around America, like the person who did the introduction for the book. Zendaya loved the idea and wrote the introduction for the book. And I gotta say, thank you, Zendaya, to this day for that. She was kind enough to write the introduction, pose for this picture, and also sign books for 10 lucky people in the very beginning of the book coming out. So here she is with the books. She was signing those first 10 for me to give away to 10 lucky people who were the first ones to join in. And this is what it's like doing cultural portraits, or the first part anyway. I do want to remind you, next week, I'm coming back with even more on this very subject. And next week, it gets even better as we dive into cultural portraits part 2. You do not want to miss part 2. Trust me, this one is going to be great. Now, yes, you can ask any questions as we dive into this. We're going to get more into this as we go on. Please stay tuned for a lot more. I'm using strobes on location, and I know maybe people are wondering, why do you use a strobe light when you're shooting outside? But when you go into photography, you need to know all the ins and outs of this art form. This is why I teach photographers exactly how to use lights in different situations. If you're in a studio, if you're on location, I've been to every state in America using strobe lights several times, actually. I've done 2 projects where I went to every state in America. And this first one was incredible, but the second one, this book, Future American President, that was the end all be all. Because this one was not sponsored by it. The first time it was Microsoft sponsored it. Second time it was self-sponsored and Kickstarter sponsored. And it was wonderful to go around and create these pictures. But maybe you're wondering about lighting. Maybe you're not really good on lighting. How do you learn how to use light on location or in a studio? Well, I teach photographers exactly that in my course. I have a course where I teach photographers how to use light and so much more. This course is called Photography Lighting Course. This is a course that's all about teaching you how to use strobe lights, how to use the light meter, how to use all the different modifiers, and so much more. Photography Lighting Course is made for photographers who want to get to the next level. Let's dive right into that right now. When I made this course, I thought about how I was at the beginning of my career. I had no clue about lighting, but it's the one thing that can help you stand out. In the course, there are 7 online modules that teach you photography lighting. That means you can take it 24/7 anytime you want on your computer. The online modules are for you to take anytime you want, 24/7. But then, because photography is changing so fast all the time, I've got a weekly session as well for 1 hour where I teach everybody in my course 1 hour a week, a live training. I think this is absolutely essential for us to grow and be better at our craft. And in this course, it's like me being right beside you to teach you everything about photography, lighting, and so much more. The course is made for you. The weekly live training, excuse me, need some more of my tea. The weekly live training is also made just for you. So you can show your pictures, do assignments, show me your assignments, and then ask any questions you want live to me and to all the other students. Super cool to have that experience. Now, when you are training, you are getting me and all my knowledge over all these years and all the knowledge of all the other students as well, as we all learn and grow together. Let me just let you hear from one of my students right now.
So, initially I thought this would be just straight up lighting, 101 on how to do lighting, and it's so much more. It's about how to really be a photographer, how to see light, not just execute it like many other people teach you how to set up the lights. And
now, what's so great about this course is there are people from all over the world who are coming into this course who really love it. I love seeing my students grow. I love helping them, love seeing their work and seeing it change as they evolve. And yes, they are from all over the globe, not just America, but from all over. And every single week they come in there, they meet me once a week in the live sessions. Now, maybe you want to be a part of this course as well. There are 2 ways to be a part. You can join through 2 different payment options, a one-time payment, or you can do it, break it down in 12 monthly installments. Either way, you become a part of the PLC Photography Lighting Course family. Again, you've got 2 options to join. Either way, it's totally up to you. You can come in, be a part of this amazing family of photographers who are all growing together, learning together, doing assignments together, getting critiques together, and growing. And this is a safe place. I don't allow any harassment of any type in this course. That's why it's safe, and that's how you grow. And yes, you do get a 30-day money back guarantee. That's how much I believe in this course. It's everything I want to learn at the beginning of my career and much more. So come on in and be a part of the PLC family. I do want to remind you that I'm going to answer all your questions, so please answer them right now. I'm here to help you take amazing pictures. I'll be here every single week doing this with a quick little lesson and answering your questions. So dive on in Ask any question you want. I do see one already from Robin asking about when I was going all over America and taking those pictures of all those kids. Did I have a crew or was I doing it alone? There was no crew. So sometimes I take an assistant with me. Sometimes I do it on my own. It was much better having an assistant with me, somebody to help, to take behind the scenes pictures, all of that. Um, it's a little risky being by yourself, and it makes people feel more comfortable when you have somebody else with you as well. So I take an assistant with me sometimes as I went from place to place, um, and trade assistants here and there. I wasn't out at one time going to all 50 states. I do like 3 or 4, fly back or drive back, go out again. And it took me like almost 2.5, 3 years to do this project, going out only when kids are out of school. So it's that window of opportunity to go out and shoot and shoot and shoot to get all 50 states. But it was an amazing experience. Now, again, feel free to ask any questions you want about anything, even about the course. Someone's asking usually like about the live weekly training sessions. Do they happen at the same time every week? They do not. I change it around every other week because people are from all over, different time zones. So I make sure that everybody has an opportunity to be a part of the live sessions and take it in. But if you miss it, no big problem because they're recorded and they go on our private Facebook page for all of us to watch anytime. As a matter of fact, you can go back and watch the last 3, 4 years of live sessions if you want. They're all online in the private group for everybody to see. So I love that about this course, that you have access to all this and so much more. Oh, I love this question that just came in. What makes portrait photography unique? It's you. I know it sounds weird, right? But it's you. You are the one who makes your portraits unique. It's how you see the world. Now we have AI out there that's making portraits and doing so much more. There's a lot of great things about AI. But the great thing about portrait photography is that you won't be using AI so much for that. Maybe on the back end, but not in terms of shooting. The shooting part needs to be done by a person, and you need to relate to your client. This is your personality, how you come out. People maybe see your work and see your talent first, but they hire you based on you and your unique ability to connect with people. That's the end all be all. Trust me, going around America and meeting all these strangers, which was hard, and asking these strangers, these parents, can I photograph your child? That's not easy. However, I made them feel comfortable enough to trust me to photograph their child and put them in my book. Now, I did go out there with pictures of my work. I want to make them know that I was not some Looney Tune out there, whatever. I took copies of my first 2 books. I took pictures of my work as a PDF to give them as well. So you can see my work, they can do background on me, everything. So they didn't just like trust a stranger off the hand. They had to see my work and the work I've done before so they could trust me and know that I would not only make this book happen, that I would take it to the very end and that it's going to make their child look amazing. That's the process. So thank you for that question about unique portraits. The unique part of it is you. We all have, for the most part, the same gear. But how does your gear stand out? It's not about the gear. It's you and how you use your gear, but more importantly, how you use your eye to show how you feel about the portrait, about the person, about making them feel special. That's what makes you unique, where you stand out. I know there's a lot online about the gear. There always will be. But as a photographer who's worked for over 30 years with clients all over the world, people hire you for you and how you relate to your clients, including them. So don't worry about gear or AI or anything else, replacing you as a photographer. It's only you that makes you stand out. your personality, how you relate to people, how you make them feel comfortable and special, especially the last part, how you make them feel special. Okay, let's go further on to this. So, if you have other questions, feel free to ask away. I am here just for you. If you want to be a part of the PLC family, come on and jump in right now. There's a QR code you can use to copy that code right now to be a part of the PLC family. Use that or simply go to photographylightingcourse.com. I'm here every single week on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, all here to help you become better and learn your craft and grow. Now, feel free to ask any other questions. I love seeing you guys ask the questions. Let's see if I have any more coming in here now. Oh, also, thank you, Rocky, for the comment as well. Hello, Jane. Good seeing you here as well. I love seeing all these comments come in. Don't be shy about asking any comments ever. I am here for you. I want to remind you to please come back next week as I go much deeper into cultural portraits. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss this new one that comes next week. All right, everyone. Have a great day, a great summer, or wherever you are in the world. Have a great time. I look forward to seeing you again next week, right back here, wherever you're watching me, as we go live again. Until then, be safe, be cool. I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.